Audrii Cunningham, 11-year-old little girl. If you're a parent, this is another story that really hits home very much like Harmony Montgomery, a tragedy that was completely preventable. I'm a parent. I have an 11-year-old little girl. It's very easy after the fact to Monday morning quarterback this and say, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have let this person onto my property. And after looking at all the facts, I'm still saying that. I'm still saying I would never have let this person onto my property. What the hell was wrong with you that you let this person onto your property, even without having a background check? I know mom and dad are going through a lot of hell right now, but I'm sorry. This is a case that just goes beyond incompetence. Joining me to discuss, attorney Eric Faddis. The parents releasing this press release, not really taking accountability, but finding blame, finding reasons as to why they were incompetent. Obviously, they're devastated by this. They're sick of being attacked by social media. I'm paraphrasing here. For showing compassion and mercy to a formerly incarcerated person. Our interactions with this person were a result of our faith, which teaches us to give our fellow man a second chance. Okay, I'm not attacking faith here, but if you're going to go down the faith route, he also gave you a brain to think with and use. And maybe the guy with the Nazi tattoos and the Aryan nation shit all over him isn't necessarily the guy to put in your backyard when you have a small child around. Eric, what's your thoughts on this thus far?
I'm kind of a bleeding heart guy, and so I can understand the perspective, at least generally, of wanting to give another person a second chance and having them, on your property and whatever. But this one is just there are just too many red flags that it seems like a simple Google search would have elucidated for these folks. I don't know exactly what measures they took, but even if Don Stephen McDougal was not on the sex offender registry, it's likely that his 2007 prior child sex assault or enticement conviction would have been uncoverable in some fashion. And so I'm sure these parents are really beating themselves up and although not publicly. But yeah, this one just seems like, what are you doing?
I don't know. They were out there, partying with this guy. There's pictures of them together hanging. I get, you're maybe he's presenting himself as he's being rehabilitated in your backyard. I don't know. But obviously, this is not necessarily a character. You look at it, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm sorry. When you have an 11-year-old child or any child on your property, and you're in charge of caring for them, guess what you have to do when strange men come to your door? Judge the book by its cover. And if it doesn't look safe, if you have any inkling that maybe this is not a good idea, or maybe do a little more, research into it, or just say, you know what? We have an 11-year-old daughter on our property. Let's not put the Aryan Nation Nazi in the trailer out back, just in case. He looks like he may have done some bad things in the past. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm just baffled by this. And quite often you hear, well, it's not, you don't want to, now's not the time to criticize. Usually that is the time to criticize. Is when everyone's saying don't criticize, because that's the
Sure.
time that attention needs to be brought to this sort of shit. Um, I'm all for giving people a second chance. I'm all for looking out for people and helping them get back up. But, there's other ways of doing it other than putting a person like this in your backyard.
100%. And the parenthood piece is really what changes the game for me.
Yeah.
Look, if these were two adults
Hmm.
who said, this guy is a little risky, he's a little rough around the edges or real rough around the edges, but I'm willing to take that risk for myself. And if something happens, I'll defend myself or whatever. That's a decision that two adults
Yes.
can make. But to take that risk on behalf of your own children who cannot defend themselves, and for whom the risk is much higher, especially considering this person's background, I just think you got to step in as the parent and go the safe route on that, and not have him living on your property. Maybe there's some other arrangement, some other way you can help him, but it's not having him on the property with your 11-year-old daughter there.
Without a doubt. Obviously, he's being charged, but what about the parents? Should this be looked at? Should these parents be considered for charges of, willful neglect or something? I don't know what the charge would be, but this just was 100% preventable. And just saying it's our faith. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. You're ignorant at the very least. At the very least.
Yeah, it's tough on that question, man, in terms of what the parents knew and what they did, that what actions they took, and whether they should be held criminally responsible for what happened. Of course, this is a tragedy that, like you said, they're devastated, no question about it. Does it rise to the level of criminal conduct? It certainly rises to the level of incompetent parenting, at least from my perspective. But the criminal piece is a little bit higher of a threshold, and I'm just not sure we get there with a case like this.
Yeah. The other reason that they're throwing out here, saying that the system failed them due to a loophole in the sex offender registration system. The simple way that I understand this, correct me if I'm wrong, is uh he had been charged earlier, but he did not, and I say this in air quotes, did not succeed in the rape he was attempting to conduct. He got the pants off of a niece or something, someone that was close to him in the home. She got away. He did get charged, but because it didn't come to fruition, that's the loophole. He did not get on the registry because of that, which seems acidine because it's like, what? He didn't succeed, so what, give him another chance, try again? Uh,
Right.
it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Is that the loophole? Is there a bigger loophole here that we should be looking at as to why this guy was not on the registry?
That's my understanding. And in thinking about it, the reason for the registry is because we want to identify folks who pose a sexual risk to children. Now, whether they have previously accomplished an assault or just tried it, that part doesn't really matter.
No.
That risk is still ever present for that person, unfortunately, for society, and they should likely be identified as presenting that risk to folks. And here he wasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking how that works. I know there's loopholes in various states for various things where it's just kind of shocking where when the intent is there, they don't, like you said, succeed or accomplish what they're set out to do. Then somehow that makes it a lesser of a crime. That again, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. To get something like that turned around, I'd imagine it'd be changing some laws up. But what just yeah, it's a case that just makes me want to scream.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're a bad child sex offender doesn't mean you're not a child sex offender.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks